Introducing the Fantasy Sport Doctors with your hosts, Dr. Mitch Brecky, Dr. Nick Curry,
The guy is drunk.
and Dr. Nick Healy.
Oh, well, top of the morning to you.
Welcome to the clinic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
Hey, hey, hey! Welcome!
I love the enthusiasm.
I like the intro today. I like it.
It was a mix.
It's interactive.
I really like it. What are we drinking today, boys?
Well, I got this Rebel Grapefruit IPA from Sam Adams. Boston, obviously.
Bastin.
Oh, yeah,
Boston in the house.
Boston. I'm drinking a little imported brew from England. A little Newcastle Brown Ale. It's a nice, smooth beer.
Smooth, nutty.
Loving it. Loving it.
Good.
I'm going on 4 or 5 here. We'll see how this goes today.
Healy's going to be sleeping.
This one's
going to
be interesting. He's going to need a ride home out of here.
So hopefully.
Sleeping in the clinic.
The guy is drunk.
Not yet, but hopefully soon.
Well, how'd we do last week, guys?
I did well. How'd you guys do?
I did really well. I'm up about 80. I could be up. I played a little Monday, Thursday action, a little transition. I could do another 50 or 60 in the account after this.
I am up $150 as of Monday, and I'm currently winning like 120 from the Monday, Thursday night games.
Beautiful.
Dr. Healy, how'd you do? I heard you did pretty well.
I hit big again. I won about $285 overall.
285 for the week?
Boom. And that's up. So,
up.
Thank you.
Nice.
I won a couple. I won a double up, of course. I usually win the double up. And then I also won in a $9 tournament, the one that we're actually playing this week as a squad. I won $80 in that one.
Nice.
So I scored 204 points. God, if Julio Jones stayed in bounds, that would have been another $150 there.
So
loving it.
So we had a little dispute, a little rift between the fantasy sport doctors.
That never happens.
Yeah. Everybody was playing their own lineups on Fanduel and Draftkings, and we were winning so much money that we didn't know how to split it up. So we decided to take some of our winnings and make a fantasy sport doctors Draftkings actual account. Yeah. So you guys can actually play the Fantasy Sport Doctors. Go on and look us up. I know you can look people up in DraftKings.
Yep.
And add us as friends and try and play us if you want to play us.
Good luck.
Yep,
Yeah, good luck, guys.
All right. So how did you guys do actually for our picks last week?
I think we were all talking Ty Montgomery, obviously, after the first week that he kind of got in there at running back, and he didn't disappoint. He had at least 10 catches. I think he had 11 catches coming out of the backfield. Looked pretty solid as a runner, made some people miss, had quite a few yards. He was up around the 20 point range in DraftKings, so he definitely outperformed his $3,500 salary.
I like it. I know that one of my fight or flight players was Spencer Ware.
Beautiful.
I tell you what, that was a great call on your part. That was a great call.
Great call.
He had a really good game. I think he's going to be big again this week. We'll talk more about that as we go forward.
Swing.
And Tom Brady was also an essential play for me. He's been killing it every week. He's a 23, 24 points average from the first 3 weeks. He's great.
He's just sticking it to Goodell.
Yeah.
You know, he's making Goodell kind of his B.
Him and Barstool.
You know?
We talked a lot about Andy Dalton and A.J. Green.
That connection, A.J.
That was
Green.
big.
That was a
That
huge
halftime
catch in the end zone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was pretty.
That we needed that.
I even had fight or flight for my tournament. My pick for the week was Brandon LaFell. He got a touchdown.
He did.
I think that was
Great cash, homie.
Yep. And if DraftKings it was 3,900. Just
You know, I will have to admit when I'm wrong, and my flat line of the week last week was J.J.
Ooh.
You know, his...
It's my quarterback.
No, that's a running back, but
And if you
that's
guys
okay.
do that, man, it's
We lost
fair.
as a team, though.
Yeah,
We were all down on Jay.
See, J.J. previously was not running for barely over than 3 yards a carry, and he had never did anything. So it breaks my heart to say
Yeah.
that I was wrong. And that's okay. Because if you took a look at my value picks, I killed 3 out of the 4 picks there. We had Sean Drone, who didn't do too much, but he did have 5 receptions for 37 yards and a touchdown, which gave you over 16 points for his price of $3,000. I picked Jack Doyle, huge on Jack Doyle. He was, I think, the number 2, number 3 tight end overall. And then not many people really were on me with this, but Cordero Patterson, he came on.
Child, please.
He came on to the last drive, and he got us a touchdown, and he ended up with 19.3 fantasy points in FanDuel. So I mean, DraftKings, loving it.
Cordell Patterson was a good pick. That Jay Ajayi, I mean, who goes off for 200 yards 2 weeks in a row? That's, I mean, unheard of.
Well, you have O.J. Simpson, who's a murderer, and then you have a couple other guys that
Spring break in the ghetto.
I mean, you have some Hall of Famers there as well, and then you have Ricky Williams, who like to smoke a lot of weed. So,
Jay Ajayi, baby.
Spring break in the ghetto.
Spring break in the ghetto. There we go.
That's
I
one of
mean,
my
they
favorites.
obviously felt pretty comfortable with him from now on because Foster was like, screw this, I'm retiring.
Who does that? That's like the ultimate quit. He's like, F this, I'm just going to quit now. I'm going to
They've
go
had
home.
a pretty weird backfield. They went from Foster looking really good week 1 and leaving Ajayi home.
You stay here. We don't have room on the plane.
Yeah, we don't even want
have
you
room on the plane.
To 2 weeks in a row running for 200 yards and Arian Foster retiring.
And in between that time, having a 4-back rotation. Who has a 4 running back rotation?
That's true. Yeah, that's so
the Finns.
you can understand why we weren't so hot on that backfield. But I guess if you have Jay Ajayi now, go ahead and play him.
Or
go for it.
Sell him high, because
Yeah.
who knows if you can keep it up.
Trade him. Get rid of him.
Just kidding.
All right. So again, main consensus here is we all did pretty good this week.
Yes, sir.
If you played our DraftKings lineup, which we played in the $25 double up last week, we scored 185 points, which was well into the money. Last week was a little weird. We actually did see more points scored last week than normal. I think to place in money, you were looking at like 160, which normally you need to have about 145, 150 to place. But we were up around the 185 point range if you played our exact lineup. So again, remember these lineups you can plug directly into your DraftKings and FanDuel accounts.
Exactly. And I think that had to be because the running backs were so inexpensive. So you can get some really high quality running backs like Spencer Ware was not very much, Jacquizz Rodgers,
Gio Bernard,
where you're going to get a lot of value, and then you can go really high expensive on the wide
we also
receivers.
went with James White, who only had one carry, but he caught a pass for a touchdown. So that
you
helps
go.
right there.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. Let's move to the objective portion. Every week, we will pick the top projected scoring teams by Vegas. This is done by taking the over and under and the spread of all 16 games and identifying the top 6 scoring teams favored by Vegas odds makers. Nick Healy, take us away.
You know what, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Dr. Brecky, how do you feel like going from the 6 rated all the way to the top?
You just threw me a curveball and I hit it out the park. Let's do this.
I like this. Woo-hey. All right, so a 6 rated team here.
Stop me, period. You can kiss the baby.
All right, you have the Seattle Seahawks, who are at the New Orleans Saints. The over-under is 48, and Seattle's is projected to win by 2.5 points and score 25.25 points. How are they going to do that, Dr. Becky?
Okay, this is what we got going here. We got the Raiders' worst pass defense in the entire league when it comes to yards allowed. They've given up 13 touchdowns through the air. That's probably 3rd or 4th worst in the entire league. I love the Bucs in the air attack this week. You're going to see a lot of value out of the Bucs this week. You're looking at even the rushing game. The Raiders are giving up 5 yards a carry on average, 128 yards a game, but 5 yards a carry is almost, I think it's first to last in yards per carry in the entire league. I think looking at the Bucs this week, you're going to find a lot of value with a lot of the players on their team aren't high ranked, but they're going to be a lot of outputs on whether it be the running game, the pass game here. I love the Bucs versus the Raiders this week. What do you guys think?
I think Jameis Winston is going to be pretty low owned, and I think he's got great value in DraftKings. A little bit higher priced in FanDuel, but I think he's only like 57,
5,400, I think, in DraftKings.
5,700 in DraftKings. Jacquizz Rodgers, another probably undervalued running back who gets the ball a ton and has been running the ball like crazy. And then you're going to pay up for the big wide receiver Mike Evans. Those are the guys that you want from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I agree. I like it a lot. Apparently, I misspoke. I was talking about the Seattle game, so let's move on to that Seattle game now.
Okay. They're
both projected at 25.25 points. So like I said before, Seattle's the over-under is 48 and projected to win by 2.5.
This game's a tough one. You got the Saints at home. Drew Brees always plays very well at home, even regardless of even if he's an underdog. You got their defense and the Saints. The Seahawks are coming off a 6-6 tie. I don't think anyone's very high on the Seahawks or the Cards at this point right now after that game. But those NFC West matchups are always tough. Even on the road, wherever you're at, it's always low scoring. Even if they've been high potent offenses through the years or through that year, it doesn't matter when there's matchups. So you got the Seahawks coming into New Orleans here. You're going up against a passing defense that's subpar, and 287 yards they've given up each week. There's been a lot of injuries in that secondary of the Saints this entire year.
They had 7 people.
The Saints have given up 11 rushing touchdowns this year. That's bottom half of the league, bottom quarter of the league. Yeah, there's a couple guys on the Seahawks that we're going to talk about that I know, Dr. Curry, you love Christine Michael this week.
I do.
Versus that rush defense, which is like a sieve.
I love Graham Cracker Jimmy.
Graham Cracker Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
Cinnamon or honey. Cinnamon or honey.
He's hot and spicy in my world. He's been killing it.
A hot and spicy Graham Cracker.
He's been killing it.
This game is really tough for me because Drew Brees at home throws for 300-plus yards and 2 to 3 touchdowns every single week he's at home. He's playing a tougher defense, and to be honest, Seattle's offense hasn't looked good at all.
They've been playing with a lot of injuries.
They've only put up a few points in the past couple of weeks. They had a bye week, I believe, before
the Atlanta game.
And they almost got beat, right? So I'm staying away from Russell Wilson. Really, the only guys on the Seattle team that I like are Christine Michael and Jimmy Graham. We talked, and we actually like a few of the New Orleans Saints players. Who do you guys like from New Orleans?
Forrest Price, and I believe he's going to be their number 1 receiver. As we spoke, and we have him. As you listen later, he's one of our lineups. I like Michael Thomas a lot, and I've liked him. I've spoke about him quite a bit on this show. He's their number 1. He had 13 targets last week. He didn't score a touchdown, but I think he had like 130 yards. So I
like that.
He's a stud.
I like Michael Thomas. He's getting a lot of targets. Now Drew Brees throws the ball lots. You got Willie Snead. You have Brandon Cooks. They're all getting a lot of targets. Michael Thomas is a different type of receiver than you're going to see out of a Brandon Cooks or Willie Snead. He's more of a jump ball kind of guy. And long strides, long limbs.
A lot more like Colston.
He is a lot more like Colston. Yeah. Yes, he is.
And they said that coming out of training camp, Brees was just raving about how much he liked him, kind of like what he did for Cooks the previous year. And look what Cooks did in the second half of the season last year. He killed it.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Thomas is like 6'2 or 6'3", 225, and can run super fast. He's a jump ball guy. I could easily see him throwing a fade in the end zone with him coming down.
And I believe he is an Ohio State Buckeye, and look what the other Buckeyes are doing. I mean, come on. Zeke?
There you go.
Yeah. Kind of some talent.
And if Cam Chancellor's still out this week, that middle of the field, you're not have to worry about getting knocked out.
Yes.
So if he's still out, I'm not sure of his status for this week. Opens up the middle of the field in a defense like that normally brings the wood. You can start really attacking the middle of the field.
Yep.
So I think we're all in consensus here. You almost want to start more New Orleans Saints than you do Seattle.
Well, really the only person I like from New Orleans against this defense is Michael Thomas and maybe Drew Brees. I think you're safe starting Drew Brees, but other than that,
at home, of course.
I don't like that game in general.
To be honest, yeah. I think they're more tournament plays than you're going to do with cash. So let's move on. All right, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Carolina Panthers, a rematch of the NFC Championship game. Carolina's favored in this one by 3 points, projected to score 25.5 points.
All right, we're in Carolina. You got the Cards coming to North Carolina. They're the 3rd ranked pass defense against Cam, who hasn't been doing that well this year, but Calvin Benjamin, who's been up and down.
He started hot.
This is a 3-4 style defense in the Cardinals that is very blitz happy. They like to bring a lot of pressure from a lot of different points. It's kind of like that typical Steelers defense that we've always seen with Palomalo used to be there. You're bringing things from a lot of different areas, and Cam hasn't been dealing with the pressure this year very well. You put some pressure on him.
I think it's the hats.
You think it's the hats?
Yeah, I think
the RB style hat, the fedoras.
Yeah, something.
So I think you steer clear a lot of Cam and Calvin this week versus a Cards defense that the offense didn't put up a lot of points last week, but it's a tie, 6-6 in overtime. Cards are one of the best defenses in the league for sure, and I think you stay away from any passing attack in the Panthers this week with that defense that's going to bring a lot of pressure. Patrick Peterson is one of those shadow guys. He's not going to play one side of the field. He's going to be on the best player for the Panthers, and I'm looking at Calvin Benjamin, and I think he's going to shut him down.
But then you have Honey Badger that's going to be covering the slot.
Exactly, that too. So that's a good point. That's a good point.
These games are tough this week. I really don't know. I mean, we had 4 or 5 games that were between 25 and 26 projected points, and so really, Vegas is saying there's going to be a lot of points scored this weekend. You can it's like a toss up which team's going to get the most points. From Carolina playing Arizona here, I mean, I don't like Jonathan Stewart against that rushing defense. Like you said, I don't like Calvin Benjamin. Cam Newton's got to prove something. On the other hand, Carolina's 1-5. They're coming off a bye week. They lose this game, they're done. They're done.
I mean, they're pretty much done.
So done.
They're done. Which usually teams that have back against the wall, they usually perform. I mean, I could see this being a game where Cam Newton throws the ball a decent amount and maybe runs 1 or 2 in himself.
What did he? They asked him about. I was reading some articles on Cam this week, and they're asking if he's ever going to stop running the ball, and he goes, "No, that's what's going to." That he quote says, "That's what gives me an edge."
Yeah,
it does.
So he's not going to stop running the ball.
And the thing is, Carolina has been starting really slow in the first half, and that's what's really stung them.
Yep.
Look what they did against the second half against New Orleans. So they have the talent. They can do it. They just haven't been able to do it from the start. They've been starting really slow. The only person I really would play in this game, and with the price of what they are, I still wouldn't. Greg Olsen is probably, because he's going to be the safety. Safety odds, he's 7,400 in FanDuel.
He's a super tough target to stop. I mean, I think Greg Olsen's going to have a decent day.
Other than that, I'm staying away from this game as well.
Yeah.
All right, next game that we have is the Kansas City Chiefs at Indianapolis Colts. The over-under is going to be 50 points in this game, and Kansas City is favored by 2.5 to score 26.25 points. Knock it away.
All right, so we got Indianapolis's defense, a 3-4 scheme. They're giving up the fourth largest amount of points to fantasy running backs this week. Yeah, I like the rushing attack of what happened last week with the Chiefs. I think it's a good pick in Spencer Ware, and you're seeing Jamal Charles still having issues coming back from his injury. I know they've been talking about him a lot. The Colts have given up 4.7 yards a carry. That's bottom quarter of the league. It's a lot of yards they've been giving up. This the entire Colts defense and team is still trying to find themselves. I haven't been very impressed with the Colts at all this year. I've been waiting for them to come around. They still haven't. Like kind of a couple weeks ago, I know me and Dr. Curry said I'm not touching a player from the Colts with a 10-foot pole until they prove something. They still really haven't.
T.Y. Hilton's been killing all year.
He has.
Let's give him credit where credit's due. Come on.
He looked really good on that deep ball from Andrew Luck this weekend. I will say that. Andrew Luck hit him in stride, right in the bread. I mean, all he had to do was stick his hands out. Yeah.
But I just feel
he's done that almost every week when they need him.
Yeah.
I think Luck should be performing better. He's shown it in the past. He just hasn't.
Well, last week he was the number 1 scoring.
He just showed some signs, but he needs to be more consistent for me to jump on the bandwagon.
They think this is the second highest projected scoring game of the slate. I could honestly, I mean, we talked about this a little bit with between us. Dante Moncrief says he's going to play this weekend. When Dante Moncrief is on the field with T.Y. Hilton, that offense is completely different.
It's a different scheme.
Completely different.
Look what they did in Week 1 against Detroit.
Yep. I got to say, if Indy has Moncrief back at 100%, I like Luck and the Colts a little bit more. I'm staying away from Jamal Charles. He's got swelling in his knee. They said both of them were affected. I don't like that at all. If he gets carries, he's going to be limited. Ware has been killing it.
Ware's killing it.
Yeah, I
loving
like Ware. I'm staying away from Alex Smith just because he's middle of the pack, middle of the road. He never does anything except
Sneaky
for maybe
tourney play.
Maybe throw 1 touchdown to Travis Kelce, who I kind of like this week. I like Kelce.
What the hell's up with Macklin? Macklin hasn't done anything.
He's playing on the Chiefs.
Well, I mean, he played with the Chiefs last year, but he scored 8 touchdowns.
I've never been a real big fan of Macklin, to tell you the truth, no matter where.
And
he's
I've
been,
never
Philly
really been a
or-
big fan of the Chiefs, so.
Well, there's that.
Me
I
either.
guess. So,
Me either.
To be fair, Spencer Ware's catching a lot of balls, and he's running a lot of balls, so you're going to be wanting to play
Spencer Ware is the one you want from that game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you need a tight end, I think Travis Kelce. I think this is the week he's going to get his first touchdown.
Spider 2Y banana.
And
That could be the play call.
And you could throw Alex Smith as a sneaky tournament play, and
That's
the only thing you do. You're not going to use. You're not going to use him in any tournament games.
It's a real sneaky tournament play.
It is,
if you
but
ask
I
me.
mean, he's only 6,800.
Yeah.
There's players that play over him, but he's
For
not
sure.
expensive. So,
Yep.
All right, next game that we have is New England against Buffalo. They're at Buffalo. The over-under is 47, and New England's favored by 6.5. And from what we see, this is keep going up. So watch this on Sunday. This might be a game to bet on. New England's projected to score 26.5 points. Tom Brady's killing and throwing to Goodell. Tell me how he's going to do it.
Got a couple things on this game. Okay, so we got the Bills shutting out the Patriots last time they played. Hasn't happened since like the early 90s.
At New England.
At New England. But Tom Brady was reading up, in the last 6 games he's played at Buffalo, he has a total of 19 touchdown passes in 6 games. He's averaging more than 3 touchdowns a game. Kind of an interesting stat.
Not bad.
But then you got Rob Ryan, who always plays him tough anyway. Now, he played him tough when he was with the Jets, but now he's with Buffalo. And you got my boy Ramon Humber, which we love, Minnesota boy. What up?
Little Minnesota.
Little Minnesota action. I would still play Tom Brady in this situation. I think they're going to look to try to stop LeGarrette Blount, stop the run, try to have him beat him in the air. This is a tough game. It's a divisional game, one of those like I wouldn't want to touch Arizona and Seattle last week. Me personally. I'm going to steer clear. The only one I would really want to hop on the bandwagon with this would be a Tom Brady. He's been so consistent of what he's been doing. Everyone else across the board, you look at Hogan even last week, only got 2 receptions where he was killing it. Edelman still has yet to get a touchdown. Gronk's been the only one that's actually been a staple. But, you look at this, Rob Ryan, you're going to try to take out your big guns. He knows how to stop the Patriots in any way he can. I could see Gronk maybe flopping this week.
You can go ahead.
I was going to say, this feels like a game where Tom Brady isn't the best quarterback on the slate.
It's a tough call.
I could see Brady throwing maybe 1, maybe 2 touchdowns here. I
get you 18 points, 17
No,
points.
I'm going to have to completely disagree with you.
I
on this
like
one.
White and Edelman, to be honest. I don't like Blunt this week. They got a better run defense than you think up there.
I'll
He's
tell
a
you
big
why
back.
you should like Blunt.
He's going to catch the ball out of the backfield a lot better than Blunt is.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Well, I got some stats about Blunt a little later in the show, so I'm going to save those for
All right, save them
for a
for
little
me.
later. But Tom Brady was pissed off when they got shut out at home. He didn't play, granted.
He wasn't even there. He was on like some yacht with Giselle.
And I
touching
can't
her
blame
behind.
him. So he was kind of
I saw
happy
the
at the same
pictures.
time. At the same time, he was pissed off. But who does Buffalo have on offense? Let's get real. I mean, LaShawn McCoy's out. Their top receivers, Robert Woods,
we
Marquise Goodwin.
We don't know if
who's
McCoy's out.
Let's
Well,
get,
he's
okay.
at the same spot he was last week. is
And
what they
last week, the
said.
carries he had 8 carries for 11 yards.
They
so
said he
it's not the
felt
same
good
LaShawn
until
McCoy.
he tweaked it in the second half. So you don't know.
It's a hammy. It's going to get re-injured regardless.
Or are they
The
just
smart
playing
thing
the
to do-
Belichick?
No. Oh, so the previous week they meant him for only go for 11 yards to re-injure it.
Well, no,
So,
I'm just
I
saying
mean,
this week
come
maybe
on.
they're saying
You
that
have-
he's re-injured it.
You have
and he's
Gillislee,
not.
and then you have an old Reggie
Yeah.
Bush who got a goal line carry, and that's crazy. So I think New Orleans have the ball a lot. I think Tom Brady's going to throw 3 touchdowns like he's done previously. Only time would tell, but I'm liking
will
Brady in
tell.
this
Okay.
one.
All right.
And then we're going to the number 1 scoring game of the week. We got Green Bay at Hotlanta. Hotlanta is projected to score 28 points over under 53, and they're projected to win by 3 over the Green Bay Packers, which I really hope will happen.
Okay, so taking a look at the NFC North and the Green Bay Packers, they're a 3-4 two-gap scheme. It's essentially when we talk about a two-gap scheme in a defense, it allows more lock on the defensive linemen. It allows the linebackers to flow a little bit more freely, and that's the style of defense that the Packers run. It's been doing very well for them in the run defense. They're the top-rated run defense in the entire league, which is good. So you're looking at a Devontae in the Falcons going up against the top. What? Throw a caveat in there. We saw the injury of Tevin here this next week, so maybe that's uptick in his takes.
I'll throw another one in there. What did they do against Ezekiel Elliott, which is an elite back? Nothing. This is the only other elite back that have played.
Are you saying Devontae Freeman is comparable to Ezekiel Elliott?
No, but I'm saying he's in the top echelon of running backs. Ezekiel Elliott is obviously a better runner. But compared to the running backs that they have played, he's much more talented than... Okay, he's behind Ezekiel Elliott, but a hell of a lot more talented than anyone else.
Okay.
I like players from both teams in this entire game. I do. There's value to be found on both halves of the ball. Falcons' defense is piss poor in passing. So is the Pack. I think it's just going to be air attack.
Oh, it's going to be exciting to watch.
You can pick.
It's going to be fun.
You can pick any receiver from any team. You can pick both quarterbacks. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, and there's going to be not much defense played. Maybe if there is some defense played, it might be on the rushing defense of the Packers. You might stop a little bit of the rushing attack from Atlanta. I think if you bring anything down, it's going to be there.
But the thing also with Devontae I want to add to is he also catches the ball. So there's a lot of screen passes that he's going to get a lot of targets at.
Yep, I understand
and with
that.
Tevin Coleman out, that's going to give him probably at least another 15 touches.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So it almost equals out, even though you're playing against a good rush defense, he's going to get extra 10 touches. It almost equals itself out on the value you're finding there.
I think Devontae Freeman's safe to start. I don't know that, he's going to be that sleeper that breaks out. And, because Tevin Coleman goes down, now Devontae Freeman's going to be the best running back on the slate. Yeah. I think pairing Matt Ryan with Julio Jones is an absolute must in cash scenarios.
If you can afford it.
If you can, yeah, you should be able to. There's plenty of value at running backs. We said it. So Julio Jones, Matty Ice. Last time Julio Jones played the Packers, he had over 250 yards. I mean, are you kidding me? That's a ridiculous amount of points. The Packers secondary is beat up like crazy. So I fully expect Atlanta to score quite a bit. Green Bay said they're going to come in. They're going to try and start hot. That's the biggest way to take the crowd out of the game. I like Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb in those scenarios.
I really do like Aaron Rodgers this week, and it hurts to say, because the fact that they haven't using Niles Davis, who's barely averaging 3 yards a carry when he touches the ball. Granted, he does score touchdowns when he's had the chance, but he doesn't run for many yards. They're going to have to do very similar to what they did against the Bears, and their short throwing game is going to be their run game, kind of like what the Patriots did with Tom Brady. So I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to finally throw for over 300 yards.
This game will be the highest scoring game on the slate, and I expect at least 6 touchdowns, maybe 8 to 10 touchdowns total during the game. You could honestly make a lineup just out of this Green Bay Atlanta game, and I bet you do pretty well.
Oh, I bet you score about $1.40, $1.50 for sure. Yeah. So. Absolutely. All right, so we're moving on to our sponsor. Our sponsor is Pub Picks. That's going to be one word when you type it into either iTunes or to your Android. Either or, it's a free app. And basically what it is, you pick games and you pick the winners. These are a variety of games that you're going to have. You're going to have basketball games. You might have football games. You might have baseball games. We kind of see what happens.
Can you play cricket?
If they put it on there, then you might be able to play.
Okay. Do you have to pick all the games?
Yes. There's, I believe it's a 10 or 12 game slate, and you pick the winners of all of them, and they take your overall record, and then there's a tiebreaker that they have, and then the top 80 or so win either free bowling, free beer, $25 gift card, $15 gift card here and there.
Sweet. Is this like an immediate thing? Like you win, it's like, boom, I got the coupon. Let's do this. I want to drink beer.
So you use it that week. So basically all you do is bring it to your bartender, and they press redeem on it, kind of like you would with a Groupon. It's super easy to use.
Okay.
Super fun. Really easy. So it's completely free, and that is Pub Picks. PUBPICKS Pub Picks.
I like it.
All right.
I know I already got it downloaded, and I played. You've played a little bit yet?
Well, I
haven't dived in quite yet, but I like it.
The thing is, you have to have it in by Thursday morning.
And
Thursday before the game starts. So it's usually about Thursday at 7 at night. Apologize.
And the other thing I was going to ask you is there a limit to how many times you can win?
No, you can win every week if you want, but it's only a once a week thing.
Okay.
So you fill up your lineup kind of like you do with DraftKings. Let's say it's a Thursday through Sunday. It's locked at Thursdays at 7. Boom, you're good to go.
So you can listen to us, pick our picks, win beer on pub picks, and then do it all over again every week.
It's not a bad combination.
And win money on DraftKings.
And win money on DraftKings.
I love it.
Win.
I love it.
All right.
All right. For our assessment portion this week in the tournament games, we're playing a $9 NFL $50,000 slant through DraftKings. All right, Dr. Nick, we are going to have to take it away with our...
Flight players.
My fight or flight player for Jameis Winston, and is close to an essential play. It only can cost you $7,400 in FanDuel, and not too much. We already mentioned his price in DraftKings. It's going against Oakland. They're the 32nd ranked passing defense, surrounding 302 yards per game and a total of 13 touchdowns. Jameis Winston is not good against talented defenses, but when he goes against subpar defenses, he kills it. He killed it against San Francisco for 269 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. LA, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And against Atlanta, he had 281 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. So he takes advantage against a poor secondary. Jameis Winston is my fight or flight.
Okay, all right.
I like it.
My fight or flight for your tournament games. A little bit of a deeper guy than I'm used to digging for, but his name's Seth Roberts. He's a number 3 wideout in Oakland. David Carr, I've always been high on this entire year. He's been doing very well. He's been distributing the ball. Seth Roberts, we've seen an uptick in a lot of his targets in the last couple weeks. Last week he had 9 targets. A week before he had 6. The week before he only had 3. He's only coming in at $3,000. If you're looking to something to fill in your late parts of your lineups to try to fill it, I really think I could see a touchdown out of him playing against a Tampa Bay secondary who is subpar, and you're looking at a projection over-under total. I think it's the second highest on the slate, maybe third highest on the slate in point projections for the week, for the game. So I could see this being a shootout with Tampa Bay going against this Oakland defense and scoring a bunch of points. Even late game junk points for Seth Roberts, I think, could be a great point for you guys. So Seth Roberts on DraftKings, $3,000. He's right around there. I don't know with FanDuel where he's at, but I think it's a great fight or flight this week for your tournament game. Seth Roberts.
Nice. For my fight or flight, for my tournament games, I'm actually going to go with James White. And the reason why we're going with James White is because he only gets 1 carry out of the backfield.
Last week he had 0.
But he catches the ball for touchdowns. So
very true.
He is that guy. He's the definition of a guy who's either going to boom or bust. And we've all seen it before with Deion Lewis. We've seen it with James White. This could be the weekend where he's the one catching those little dump passes for 3 touchdowns and 100 and some yards.
I mean, he got a touchdown last week, 2 touchdowns the week before.
There you go.
Obviously, Tom Brady likes to use him in all aspects of the game. So
and
not a bad pick.
If you need to put him in there to save you some money, he's only $4,800 in DraftKings, and he's coming in at $5,800 in FanDuel. So not a bad way to go.
Fantasy Flatliner.
All right, now we have a fantasy flatline for you guys on Periscope. Again, that is our bust of the week. My bust for his price is going to be Phillip Rivers going against that tough Denver secondary. Playing Denver, who is the number 2 ranking passing defense, they're only surrendering 178 yards per game. He just played him 2 weeks ago, and he only had 178 yards and 1 touchdown. It's not worth the price. And to be fair, Denver all season has only given up 4 passing touchdowns, and they've had 5 interceptions. So I'm staying away from Phillip Rivers this week. Take it away, Dr. Brecky.
All right, my fantasy flatliner for your tournament play games this week is coming in at a whopping 7,200 on DraftKings. It's Calvin Benjamin. He is the number one target for your Carolina Panthers, but he's going up against a defense and someone like Patrick Peterson and or Honey Badger, who's going to be shadowing him, and they come in at the third best ranked pass defense for his first fantasy points. I don't think Calvin Benjamin is gonna do much. We talked about the Cards defense bringing that 3-4 look, a lot of pressure. Cam has not been dealing well with that this year, and they're coming off a bye, but they're 1-5. I don't think they're going to prove that they're going to make it to play. I think you even drop this game. I don't think Calvin's going to be worth a $7,200 salary this week. Stay away. He's my fantasy flatline this week.
Only giving up 5 touchdowns to wide receivers in Arizona. So
not many in 8 games. That's not much.
I don't like Calvin Benjamin.
This is sad. I was going to say later, but yeah, you said 5 touchdowns. They have 9 interceptions as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, 9 interceptions, only giving up 5 touchdowns. Looks like Arizona's only given up 1,300 yards through the air. So
8 games.
That defense for passing attack is pretty good in Arizona. So my flat line is going to be Martellus Bennett, and let me tell you why. He's playing with an injured ankle. He's playing only 50% of the snaps now. So he only basically comes in 2 tight end sets now, and they're only playing that between 40 and 50% of the time. He only got 2 targets last week, and he's playing Buffalo, who is ranked first with Denver and Seattle, only giving up 4 touchdowns through the air.
Didn't I tell you last week you don't piss off Belichick? Pretty damn sure I did.
Well, Buffalo is middle of the pack with 1,600 yards through the air. So for passing defense,
I'm not
like
talking
15.
about Buffalo. I'm talking about, I told Bennett pissed off Belichick because what he said about his previous team. And so he got pissed off at him and said, you're not going to get as many targets. That's why last week I was like, don't stay away from him.
Oh, I thought you were saying that Buffalo pissed off Belichick when they came in.
I mean, that pissed him off too.
I'm pretty sure he threw a tablet.
I mean, there's a lot of Belichick being pissed off there.
And when he's pissed off, he doesn't play you. He just kind of, unless you're Tom Brady.
Well, either way, I don't think Martellus Bennett's going to do very well.
100%.
He forces you to cut the sleeves off his sweatshirt. That's what you have to do.
If you're picking
With your mouth.
If you're picking a tight end from New England, make sure you're picking Gronk.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Moving on to your essential plays. Who you got, Dr. Healy?
My essential play. This is a guy that really helped me last week, and I'm going with him again. This is Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Bucks. He scored in every single game except for one, and the only game he didn't score was against Denver. Last week he had 2 touchdowns. He's going against the 32nd ranking passing defense, and he's Jameis Winston's number 1 target who looks for him all the time, especially in the red zone. I'm loving some Mike Evans this week.
Good, I like that. My tournament essential play is coming from the Mile High City, baby. Devontae Booker. Couple developments this week. We got injury from C.J. Anderson. Looks like he's got possibly a bone bruise.
Couple weeks, they say.
It's a couple weeks. He's definitely not playing this week.
Maybe worse. He's getting a second opinion.
He's getting a second opinion. I don't think they're going to push him. Devontae looked great this last week. 17 attempts, 83 yards, a touchdown. He's going to see, I think he could see well over 20 touches, whether it be from the air, from the running attack. Now, last time Denver played San Diego, Paxton Lynch played. So I think that's a skewed view of what Denver's going to do against San Diego. They definitely stopped the run last time. I think Devontae is going to be a big part of the offense. I think he's great value, 3,700 only. He's our Ty Montgomery of last week.
Yeah,
I think he's going to well outperform. He's going to be in every lineup I have, whether it's a cash game or a tournament game. You can't get it.
I tell you what, that was a great call on your part. That was a great call.
I think we're all on that.
Yeah, and even last week, he actually outsnapped C.J. Anderson. So I think even if C.J. Anderson was going to play, he'd still have a pretty damn good value.
To be fair, the only way he was going to outsnap Anderson was because Anderson got hurt, and he was kind of limping around the sidelines.
That first quarter, he kind of gimped up a little bit.
Yep.
He was out for a good
But the week before that, they almost split it too as well.
And
Devontae Booker is one of those talents that's coming up, and he's going to.
They did say they're going to give him more carries, and they said they like his juice. They like his juice.
He was running hard.
He's
like
a beast.
right at people.
Out of Utah, you see him in college. He's a beast.
Yes. I like
Loving him.
All right, so for my tournament essential game play, I'm going with Christine Michael. And let me tell you, look at this stats guy over
Your essential
here.
or your fat? All right, never mind.
Yeah, I'm doing my essential picks.
All right.
The guy is drunk.
So my essential pick for this week in tournament games is Christine Michael, and I'll tell you why. Because New Orleans is giving up the most touchdowns in the NFL to running backs with 11. That's worse than Houston. That's worse than San Francisco. That's worse than Washington. They're middle of the pack in yards, but they're still giving up around 95 yards a game and a ton of touchdowns. That makes Christine Michael a huge play this week. He is a little bit higher priced, but you know what? I think you got to pay up for what you're going to get.
All right, I like it.
I don't hate it.
All right, moving on to our cash games. For our cash games, again, Dr. Healy is going to be playing some $100 double ups.
As is tradition. I wanted to go 500, but these guys are like,
He goes 500. I'm like,
Take it
just
easy.
Just
buddy.
take it easy.
The guy is drunk.
This was before. I have not lost a double up yet, so I figure might as well put my money where my mouth is and go for the big one.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the $100 double up's a great spot for you. You're making money. It's something you've been doing for a while. Keep it up. I'm playing $25 double up. We're playing a couple of them with our fantasy sport doctors. If you guys want to play us in cash games, find us FantasySportDrs on FanDuel.
It's fantasy_sport_DRS.
Yep. Send us a friend request on FanDuel, or just send us a game invite for however much you want to play, and we'll challenge you, and we'll let you know next week how you did.
Yep.
So,
Loving it.
All right, we're going to start it off with our cash game. Fight or flight player.
All right, so unlike me, I'm not going for a bunch of stats in this guy. I'm just going for a feeling. Julian Edelman has got to score a damn touchdown every once in a while.
I've been on that bandwagon a couple weeks ago.
So last week, I mean, he's getting targeted. Last week he had 9 receptions for 60 yards. Okay. He's going to get a touchdown this week against Buffalo. He's going to stick it to him.
It's going to happen.
I have a bet. I feel like I need a bet here.
Little man to little man. He's getting it.
I feel like there should be a bet for one of you two guys. What do you guys believe?
What are you saying here?
I've been on that bandwagon, so I want him to get it. I'm not going to bet against that.
You're not going to bet against it?
No.
I feel like because you finally repaid your bet last week, which you did a fantastic job
Phenomenal job.
at. Of course you
I
did.
tell you what, that was a great call on your part.
You did a great
That
job.
was a great
You did a
call.
wonderful job, and I was impressed. So now I feel like we need a little wager. I think Julian Edelman is going to score a touchdown. Do you think yes, or do you think no?
I'll counter. I won't do a Julian
I
Edelman
think Julian
bet,
Edelman's going to score a touchdown.
but I'm super high on Devontae Booker. I think he gets 2 touchdowns.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, I know I kind of jumped back a little bit. but 2 touchdowns out of Devontae.
That was the most exciting
How about
thing to
this?
happen
20 fantasy points on DraftKings.
He's playing San Diego, and San Diego.
They stuffed the Broncos last time they played. They didn't have like any CJ Anderson to do anything.
San Diego is giving up 9 touchdowns to the running backs, which is 28th in the league.
Yes, but they for yards they give 10 points.
That's why I went with points.
No, all right. Let's go back.
I'm just trying. Nick wants to Nick really wants a shotgun. He really wants a shotgun a beer next week. It's happening.
No, I think I'm surprised. You guys, so both you guys really believe Julian Edelman's going to score a touchdown. Is that where we're at?
I could see that. Yes, I'm not going to bet against that.
I mean,
I'm not.
I guess
Wow.
it's hard for me to say yes to that because Buffalo's only given up 4 touchdowns this year to wide receivers, or for passing.
We can move
for all
forward.
that
We'll
purposes,
we'll
but
find
All right.
we'll find a bet
I wasn't
for us.
prepared for that Julian Edelman one. I'm not high on these games.
You guys just aren't risk takers.
He's been
high on
throwing
these games,
curveballs
yeah, all
all
over
game.
the
We're going to
place.
start from the bottom and
You
go
gotta let us
up.
know when you're gonna
got
do this,
Julian
Nick.
Edelman.
You got to
doing
mix it
this.
up. You got to have some excitement. What the hell isn't without
How
excitement?
about my fight or flight? South Roberts.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
I'll take that bet all day
Seth Roberts.
for a touchdown.
Let me think about it.
Oh, you're obviously not too confident in your fight or
He's
flight.
a fight or flight.
So is mine, Julian Edelman. He actually, look it up. Seth Roberts has more touchdowns in the year than Julian Edelman does.
I think that might be right.
I might be right.
That is
I'll
damn
take
right.
that bet. That's
Boom.
a shotgun beer. Shotgun beer. Seth Roberts gets a touchdown.
That was the most exciting
Gets a
thing that happened
touchdown.
That gets a touchdown.
Yes.
Yes. This is almost a safer bet than Julian Edelman
Oh,
getting a
yeah.
touchdown.
Swing.
I'm going to crush you on here in front of everybody because I'm tired of hearing about it.
I don't think he's gonna be a chug beer like you could.
Oh, I don't know. Is that another bet right there?
I mean, we didn't time it. I'm just gonna be
Didn't time
impressed
it.
because I know I want to have to.
All right. What do we got? So I'm on to my cash games fight or flight
Yes,
here.
you are.
My cash games fight or flight is Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has not been doing much of anything in the last couple weeks here. This week he's going up against a Colts defense who's been giving up 11 touchdowns through the air, quite a few. I think that this being the second highest point projection for the week in the game totals, there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think Travis Kelce gets one of these. I think he's going to get back on track. He's due.
is.
I like this pick a lot, and I think if you're looking for value somewhere, run with Travis Kelce, guys.
You like that? You like that?
Yep.
Yeah, Travis Kelce's got to get in the end zone this week. Otherwise, he's out of my books. He's like
I would have dropped him if he doesn't get.
he's like Indianapolis.
scored a
I'm never
tou-
playing him again.
Has he
I got him on my
scored-
bench in one of my other leagues, but
Has he scored a touchdown all year? I don't think he has.
I think he maybe has one.
Oh yeah, I'm not quite sure about that, to be honest.
I'll let you know here in a second.
Alrighty, so for my fight or flight, I am going with Jacquizz
Where?
Jacquizz Rodgers. And the reason why I'm going with Jacquizz Rodgers is because the guy's getting a ton of carries. Doug Martin was that workhorse back down there. They bring Jacquizz Rodgers in, and he just blows up. He's been killing it. They just said this week that Doug Martin isn't where they want him to be. He's playing that offense. Like I said, they're going to be throwing the ball quite a bit. I believe they're playing Oakland, right?
Yeah.
Oakland has been giving up 7 touchdowns to the rushing game, and they're kind of middle of the pack with 898 yards against. So they're right up around that 100 yards a game and at least 1 or 2 touchdowns to the starting running back. So I like Jacquizz Rodgers.
I like that. On ESPN, they're ranked 28th in rushing defense, and they're rushing for 128.3 yards per game.
And
So.
Jacquizz is going to cost you $6,600 in FanDuel, and he's only going to cost you $5,800 in DraftKings. So he's a little bit cheaper option than like a Christine Michael or Zeke Elliott or David Johnson.
Good pick.
And you're definitely going to get value with that one.
For sure.
Fantasy Flatliner.
I'm going with a little Cam Newton for my fantasy flatline. He's
Good
costing
pick.
you $8,300 in FanDuel. What is he costing you in DraftKings, buddies?
DraftKings, we got Cam Newton coming at $8,300.
So it's the exact same price in both. All right.
No, DraftKings, he's coming at $7,400.
$7,400.
Sorry,
Okay.
misprint.
So, as Brecky said, he's going against the third best fantasy defense in Arizona,
Yep.
but the sixth best passing defense. And we mentioned earlier, they've only surrendered 5 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Cam Newton, kind of what Jameis Winston has done as I mentioned before, has been awful against good defenses. When he played Denver, he only threw for 194 yards, a touchdown, and interception. When he played Minnesota, he only threw for 262 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So when he's getting pressure in his face, which Arizona can do with their defensive line,
They bring the pressure. They bring a lot of blitzes.
Cam Newton's going to be on his back, and he panics. And he's going to throw some picks.
Okay. I like it. My fantasy flatline for the week in your cash games plays is LaShawn McCoy. I know it's kind of a little strange pick. He's been fighting an injury. Last week, he said he pulled his hamstring. Coming into the game, he plays. You're not sure what he's in game time decision. He played all the way till the third quarter, until he maybe tweaked it again.
At 11 yards.
11 yards, terrible. But Gilsey, his backup, only had 3 points too.
Didn't look good.
Terrible. And you're coming off the same thing. They're saying, okay, he's at the exact same point as he was last week. I don't like to hear that. You're playing against your division rival in New England. I steer clear of LaShawn this week. He's a great player, but not for you this week. LaShawn McCoy is my fantasy flat line.
Yeah, stay away from LaShawn until he gets that leg figured out and that hamstring figured out. My flat line of the week is going to be Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I said it. Write it down, take a picture, send it to him. You heard me?
All right, so the reason why I'm going with Brandon Cooks is he is playing, let's see here, Brandon Cooks, New Orleans, Seattle. He's playing the number 1 ranked defense against passing. Seattle's only given up 4 touchdowns to a wide receiver. More than likely, he is going to be matched up against Richard Sherman for at least 25 to 50% of the plays because they move him around. They put him in the slot. I understand that. It's just it's hard for me to pick a guy who, ideally they're not giving up touchdowns to wideouts. And I think Drew Brees is going to throw the ball around, but he's got a lot of weapons down there in Cooks and Snead and Thomas. We already kind of talked about Thomas. If any of the wideouts, I think you're better off picking Thomas or a Snead who's a little bit cheaper value wise than
Thomas is a bigger target too.
I'd go with
Thomas is a bigger target,
especially because Snead. You can look at his stats and his totals have been definitely lowered because Michael Thomas has been taking a lot of his touches.
Yep. So.
All right, so we're moving on to our essential picks. My essential pick, which apparently Dr. Curry doesn't really like, is LeGarrette Blount. He's going to cost you $6,600 in FanDuel and $5,300 in DraftKings. The reason being, Buffalo is ranked 27th in overall run defense. They just gave up to Jay Ajayi 214 yards and a touchdown. Last week against Pitt, he had every single one of the carries. He had 24 carries for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. They're going to be up in this game, and they're probably going to be up by a lot. And I'm expecting them to use him in the fourth quarter, so you can expect a lot of garbage points from him as well.
Okay, all right. My cash game's essential play this week is Spencer Ware. Spencer Ware, Kansas City, playing against the Colts defense, giving up the fourth largest amount of points to fantasy running backs this year. Jamal Charles still having swelling and problems with that knee. I love Spencer Ware. He showed it last week. Spencer Ware should be in most all of your lineups this week. He's going to get a lot of touches. I love the defense he's going up against in the Colts. Spencer Ware.
He's a top 5 running back. I'm loving
right
Spencer
now.
Ware.
He is.
Yeah.
I think he is for
He's
sure. With LaShawn down. They've been talking about Latavius Murray coming back, but turf toe, you never know how you're going to bounce back. But I think Spencer Ware's a great pick this week.
Yes.
My essential play this week, I'm going to kind of throw you guys a curveball here.
You just made something off the fly, though, didn't you?
I'm on Healy's thing here.
I'm guessing I know where the region of the country it's coming from.
Oh, do you?
Do they eat cheese?
Yes, they do eat cheese.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this, right? And I'm looking at my essential pick originally was Julio Jones. And the reason why I picked Julio Jones is because let's be honest, Ladarius Gunter and Demarius Randall, like nobody's heard of these guys playing cornerback and safety for the Packers. They don't have their starting guys back there. They have given up a lot of yards, but honestly, they've only given up 10 touchdowns. And you just talked about the price for Julio Jones. Maybe he is a little bit overpriced. It's hard for me to stay away from him. When last time he played the Packers, he went for more than 250 yards. If he goes for 250 yards, you're obviously fine paying whatever price it is for him.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get away from him. But I'm looking at Atlanta's passing defense. Atlanta's passing defense is giving up 2,060 yards, and they've given up 15 touchdowns this year already.
Corn cob.
Essential play of the week for cash games, I'm picking Aaron Rodgers.
You would.
Cheese. I can see the cheese coming out of your head.
God. All right, let's get away from this. Let's please move on.
Tell me you guys don't like Aaron Rodgers this week.
I do like Aaron Rodgers.
You guys said we could pick anyone from
my $100 double up. I love Aaron Rodgers.
I just hate it coming from you.
Yeah, it just makes me want to just actually.
I think I just puked in my mouth.
Actually, I did throw it 3 times.
It wasn't the beer.
So we're moving on. All right, we're moving to our prescription to win. Let's start it off with that DraftKings $9 NFL $500,000 slant. Dr. Healy.
We're gonna switch it up. We're gonna go backwards this time. Like you went to the bottom, and we're going this way now.
Do you?
Right.
I'm
I'm sick of talking about the same positions. I want the top.
All right, mix it up.
I want the
sick and
top.
tired
I'm
of
going
hearing
to
about
crush
it.
you on here in front of everybody because I'm tired of hearing about it.
Not strong enough to handle the bottom, huh?
No, no, I'm not. All right. So DraftKings, we're playing a tournament here for DraftKings. It's the $9 buy-in, $500,000 slant. Okay, so we're starting out with our three tops here. We got our quarterback. We're going with Jameis Winston. We love this versus that Raiders pass defense, worst in the league. I think there's going to be a lot of points, and Jameis Winston's going to get you a good value this week. He's coming in and FanDuel at 7,400, and on DraftKings he's coming in. What do we got, guys?
Jameis Winston's 5,700.
5,700 in DraftKings. Perfect. Two running backs. We're going Spencer Ware. Must play. Jamal Charles down. A lot of touches for him. We love Spencer Ware this week. And then other running back is Christine Michael, going against that poor New Orleans run defense.
Giving up 11 touchdowns a year. So,
Dr. Healy, what do we got coming up with the receivers here?
All right, so then we're going to top it off with Mike Evans. Then we're going to go Devontae Freeman. And as we talked about before, if you're going to pick a wide receiver...
Devontae Adams.
Oh, Devontae
Adams.
If you're going to pick a wide receiver, you're going to pick Michael Thomas out of New Orleans. So Michael Thomas is our play.
So when we put this together, we pretty much try and stick to the top 6 games, and we were kind of stuck after putting these.
This week was tough.
Yeah, we were kind of stuck putting these teams together, and so we decided to bite the bullet and put Michael Thomas in, even though he's on the losing side. We think he's going to get in the end zone, even against that hard Seattle defense. So I guess I'll follow it up with the defense and tight ends, like I always do.
You get a flex.
Yeah. I get a flex too. Yeah. So for our tight end, we're rolling the dice. Travis Kelce, he's got to pay off sometime. He's playing that porous defense for tight ends. If anybody catches the ball in the end zone, it's going to be Kelce.
Yep.
Moving on, we all love Booker.
Devontae Booker. Love it.
You guys have to have him in your lineups. He's so cheap. He's going to be a starting running back. He looked explosive. He's going to catch the ball well. He's going to get in the end zone.
San Diego's giving up 9 touchdowns already.
Denver really doesn't have another back that you can even go 50-50 with there. They have... I can't even remember his name, but he'll probably give me maybe 10 touches.
That's what I say about their quarterbacks.
You just stop it.
Trevor Siemian.
Stop it.
I don't even remember his name.
Throws a pretty ball.
He's a game manager.
Yeah.
He's looking a lot like Alex Smith right now. Moving on, we have the Patriots, and we're finishing up with the Patriots. We are predicting that the Patriots are going to go into Buffalo, and they're going to shut down Tyrod because
they might just answer the shutout.
Tyrod doesn't have anybody.
Are you going to see more
Belichick
chucking of tablets, you think?
No, he's not.
He's not going to use it anymore. He said he's like, F that. I'm just going to use my
notebook. Sit here under my cutoff hoodie and watch my team win.
What he does. All right.
Okay.
All right. We're moving on to FanDuel, and this week we're going bigger, going home in FanDuel. We're playing a $25 tournament in FanDuel.
Boom.
Yeah, boom. It's
Loving it.
It's a $25 Sunday Fun Day rush.
1.5 million.
300,000 to first place. So
how many people are playing? Any idea how many people are playing?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I know we're going to be in the top half.
All right.
For sure.
It is paying out for like the top 25%. So.
Well, top of the morning to you.
Take it away, Dr. Brecky.
Thanks, Dr. Healy. So quarterback, starting with Matt Ryan. Top projected, favored, playing against one of the worst pass defenses in the league. I love saying that about the Green Bay Packers. And we're going to pair him with the running back who used to play for Atlanta, is now for Tampa, Jacquizz Rodgers. And then our other player that we love, both lineups, we got him in, Devontae Booker from Denver. Matt Ryan, Jacquizz Rodgers, Devontae Booker. Those are our top
points.
3. I love those points.
Curry, take away the wide receivers.
Oh, you're giving me the wideouts?
Oh, yeah.
I love
Another
it. Thank
curveball.
you.
He's throwing 3 curveballs today.
Swing. All right. So
I feel like Corey Cooler.
we went big.
Cleveland.
We went big with our wideouts here. We wanted to
thank-
save money with Jacquizz and Devontae Booker so that we could put Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, and Mike Evans in.
That's a heck of a receiving crew.
I really don't think Devontae Adams is going to put up another 40 points this week. However, Devontae Adams is one of the top targeted receivers the past 3 weeks. He is involved in the Packers offense, and the Packers' third wideout, for some reason, Aaron Rodgers loves the matchups, and they get that third cornerback.
If I was a betting man, which I am,
I know you are.
I would bet that he'd have more than 20 fantasy points this week.
Nice. I love it.
For sure.
All
and
right.
he's pretty middle of the pack, cheap. He's actually cheaper than Ty Montgomery. Ty Montgomery is their 4th wideout, and they already came back and said that Don Jackson didn't break his hand. So as long as he can hold the ball, he will be playing, and Niles Davis is going to get more of the workload this week. I don't know if I like Ty Montgomery as much as people have been up on him this
I could
week.
see him as like a third down, like James White, kind of like just catch out of the backfield, third down back, situational kind of guy. Not get as many touches as last week, but I think maybe a potential on him to, goal line stuff would be. Is he catching it? Is he running it? Like, I could see him being in those positions.
Again, I think the Packers are going to look at this and say, wow, Atlanta's given up 15 touchdowns this year to wideouts. Let's throw the ball. We got the best quarterback in the league. Let's throw the ball.
We put it on his shoulders. How many times did he throw the ball last week?
50-some times last
They
week.
don't have a running back that's actually worth something.
So
He's
they're
gonna
like,
be throwing
Aaron
the ball a
Rodgers,
lot.
just win the game for us.
Yep.
All right, and then we're going to finish up the lineup. So we went heavy on Detroit to finish this up because they're cheap. So we're able to do the rest. So we do have a tight end, which I project to be the number 1 tight end of the week, and that's going to be Jimmy Graham because he's going to be targeted a lot. He's going against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans, his old team.
Old stomping grounds.
That was where he
Spring break in the ghetto.
Spring break in the ghetto. There we go. All right. So then we got Jimmy Graham, and then our kicker's gonna be Matt Prater, and then our defense is gonna be Detroit against Houston because
Motor City Kitties.
Who knows what Osweiler can do against anybody?
Osweiler can't even throw the ball. Did you guys see that fumble last week?
Yeah.
While he was throwing, he wasn't
It's okay.
even
We'll
touched.
take it.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
Yeah,
Nope.
good thing you guys get rid of him.
He goes, I'm scared, and that's basically what.
I'm not a fan of Osweiler. He's done.
No, exactly. So that's why we went with the Detroit T, and that's our prescription to win.
Prescription to win, baby.
All right, guys, we're going to post this week, actually, for you on our website. Andrew, get that up. And Dr. Healy has been doing some value picks. He highlighted them in the beginning, but they've been taking off. They've been doing pretty good. So he'll be coming out with another value pick for you guys, so watch for that.
Yep, make sure to check out that. Those value picks will be posted on our website, www.FantasySportDrs, so doctors.com. Check those. They'll be up there. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All of our Twitter handles are the same.
Also, feel free to email us at fantasysportdoctors@gmail.com, and we will answer your questions on the air.
Yep, and don't forget about our sponsor.
Maybe.
Maybe, right?
If they're good questions.
If they're good questions, yeah.
And don't forget about our sponsors, Pub Picks. Download the app. You can bet. Find all of our information here. Put that into your winnings or into your lineups. Win free beer, bowling, whatever you please.
Completely free, boys.
Free app, free beer if you win. So
wonderful.
Make sure you check us out. We always have a Stardom Sit-'em on the weekends. It's coming on Sunday mornings between 10 and 10:30 a.m.
That's for you, Periscope.
That's for you, Periscope. Yep. Just come on in. We're trying to hashtag a little bit more, so we can you can check us out on Twitter or Periscope. Ask us your questions. We will give you answers. Little sidebar there. Last week we apologized for Jay Ajayi because he did very well.
But you can ask any network or
Yeah.
anybody out there that nobody knew he was going to do.
And we did also say that we like Gillislee, but who knew what was going to happen with Buffalo? Just stay away from them now.
Exactly.
So we'll be there talking to you guys, and make sure you hit us up.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. Take care.
Thanks for listening. Have a good week.